Chief, additionally, Councilmember Schroeder had a question earlier, and since you're on the line, perhaps you can ask directly. I do know that you presented just a little bit ago, and I know there's another study session coming up, but Councilmember Schroeder, feel free to ask the Chief.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor, and as I said before, I'm just going to follow up with the Chief, but just so he knows, this is going back to to the study session. Just there was a pretty concerning difference between what the Chief said and what we're hearing from the 3rd Precinct Inspector about the CRT teams. But again, I can follow up after this meeting.
I think feel free right now. I think, as you mentioned, it's good to have the public information out there. And if you were asking the question before, certainly you can ask the Chief now while he's on the line.
Sure, Mayor, but I do also want to point out, I think your point is good to keep these moving and be on topic. That's always been what I've been trying to do with these questions. I can get into this very specific question because it is pretty concerning about the community relations team. It is something that we've been working to get working on some problem properties, about some issues in the ward. And I was told by the 3rd Precinct Inspector, as well as by their crime prevention specialists, that there are no CRT teams in the 3rd Ward. And what that does, because they are moving folks to do patrols. And while we certainly need folks to be on patrols, we also need officers to assist our fire inspectors and others who are trying to do the work right now under very hard conditions. And they are being told that they just aren't, there's no officers to help with that. And so, Chief, I'm happy to follow up later if you know, as the mayor suggested, want to have an answer right now, but I'm happy to follow up later.
Is there a question that you have? Because we're certainly happy to answer it.
Mayor, I don't know how my questions are not interpreted as questions. The police chief said that there are CRT teams in the 3rd Ward, or excuse me, in the 3rd Precinct, and the 3rd Precinct Inspector said there are not. I'd like to know the truth.
Chief?
Madam Chair, Councilmember Schroeder. If I can answer that question for you. So at the time that you had asked me that, I had not been made aware that the 3rd Precinct CERT team had been dissolved at that time.